Goodbye.
Well, this is a fascinating story because the mainstream media has been trying to peddle a Trump under control of Russia and China and all that, which is just so ridiculous because Trump has taken an extremely hard line with China. When he banned air traffic from China following the discovery of the Wuhan virus, Joe Biden came out and said, oh, he's xenophobic. And they keep saying that Putin wants Trump. And I think the last thing that Putin wants is another 4 years of a tough guy like Trump. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And then on top of all of this, I don't know how this happens, but Hunter Biden apparently brings his laptop in to have it repaired. And why he picked a month or so before the election or whenever he did it. But apparently the laptop had such strange information on that it was turned over to the FBI. And we got introduced to a character who has now gone public. He has a strange last name, Bobulinski, and he was directly involved in making the connections. And there are actually emails on Hunter Biden's laptop where he is saying $850,000 a year is not enough because I'm bringing the big guy, referring to his father clearly. And Bobulinski says now, he's been interviewed very recently, that he personally met with Biden to talk about this, what I believe it's certainly absolutely unethical, but it is possibly illegal to sell to sell political favors. And so I think this could bear a great deal of investigation. Now, one of people, people may say, well, gee, why doesn't Bill Barr and the Justice Department jump in there and do something right away? Well, the problem is that the people who work for the federal government are overwhelmingly Democratic. They are unionized, and they have clear-cut loyalties to the Democratic Party. And so it's not as simple as saying, hey, let's get put a team together of the Justice Department and go after this guy, because the employees are not people who are enthused about going after anyone who's a Democrat. And of course, that means that we have justice for sale across the board. But it's interesting because the major media has attempted to suppress the information, but even I think CNBC, MSN, even some big networks and big internet providers have finally said, you know what, we tried to suppress this, but there's too much here. This is not false. So I believe that a few weeks ago, Facebook tried to prevent posts talking about Bobulinski, Hunter, and Biden, but I would certainly hope by now that they have realized that this is not some wild hair, terrible thing, and all that. We're not going to talk about Section 230 today, by the way, the censorship by the big internet service providers and social media providers. But the point still stands that I think even many of them have said, whoa, you know what? This is way too hot. I don't know that with 60 million people having already voted in this election, that it'll have an impact on the election, but I would hope it would have some impact on the election for, last minute voters. But that's the rumor of the week. It's quite something.
What an exciting time this is. So we have less than 1 week. Well, 1 week from today, actually, when we have the election. And once again, let me remind you that you can get this book. There's a whole section in the book. And what is that section called, Dr. Schein? At the end of the book, where you kind of do a comparison of all of them, the analysis of 100 years of American presidents.
Yes, we talk about the economics. We talk about the marketing of the presidency. And I make a series of recommendations. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of, I think saving the American democracy is going to require term limits. And that could lead to a little bit more instability in government from some people's viewpoint. But I think it would be a very healthy thing to have more true representatives in Congress instead of these people who are in for 47 years and for 30 years and 40 years. And many of them are Republicans. This is a bipartisan observation. It's time for us to have a representative democracy, which was the founding fathers' design. And to do that, we need to send people to Washington, get the job done, and come home and live under the rules that they have passed.
I think that's great. And just flipping through these chapters on the analysis, the proposal for improving future American presidents, and then the media and creating the myths of American presidents. This is all the way from Woodrow Wilson to Barack Obama. So it does not include Trump, however, back 100 years from Barack Obama. So get this. Look to see how all the different presidents handled when they had a crisis. And all of them did. So check to see, do the analysis, the comparison, and then you can make an educated vote on November 3rd next week. So Dr. Schein, once again, thank you very much for taking the time to expound on what's in the news, what the rumors are, and then just the facts. So thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you again next week, which will be election day. We'll be talking next week. So
yes, ma'am.
We'll have a great time next week.
Thank you, Sandy. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Okay. Talk to you then. Bye.